Hello, I'm curious. Have you ever had an experience where you saw things really blurry for some reason? Or maybe you were wearing your sunglasses outside and then you walked inside, forgetting you were wearing your sunglasses and everything felt super dark. My name is Jess Howe, and this is the Because He Remembers Me podcast. And today I would like to talk about lenses. I wear corrective lenses all day, every day. But I have had these other experiences in addition to that. And this week, as I have studied the gospel and studied church history, I had the opportunity to think on these lenses. For example, when I remove my corrective lenses, my contact lenses, things are blurry to me. I think that this is similar to maybe not keeping the commandments, or when I accidentally put my glasses on while I'm already wearing my corrective lenses, it makes things feel super, super sharp, which for me is really similar to being really focused or hyper focused on people's faults or flaws. There's also that lens of wearing sunglasses inside where things seem unnecessarily dark and there's no hope and no peace. Well, when we study the gospel or when we look at the world, we can have a number of different lenses. Some that I found in the scriptures were things like having an eye of faith. That's one lens. I also found one that talked about seeing through a glass darkly. Paul talks about that in 1 Corinthians, which is probably similar to our sunglasses, putting on our shades. Another one is in Doctrine and Covenants 4, which talks about faith, hope, charity, and love, with an eye single to the glory of God. So we get to choose which of these lenses, but some of them we don't always think about having chosen. For example, we don't always think about whether or not we're proceeding with skepticism as a lens. We don't always think about our generational lenses. When we look at the past, it's really easy to see their flaws, but it is always easy to see the sins of our generation that they are not guilty of. And as I've considered these lenses, both in church history and in studying the gospel, I began to see them more in my life. For example, when I found toy cars in one of my sewing boxes, that's my job. My boys aren't really supposed to be in my sewing stuff, but I find their things in my sewing boxes. I can choose to get upset, or I can choose to be grateful that I'm at a stage where I can find toy cars in my sewing boxes. Or when I am corrected in my calling at church, I can choose whether to be offended, to be a victim, or whether to choose the lens of, Lord, is it I? Do I need that correction today? And I also thought about it today at church when my son confessed to me that he had, his words, smuggled gum from my church bag. And I could have gotten upset, or I can laugh that I have a gum smuggler in my family. But there's one interesting thing about lenses, and that is that when I put on a lens, they don't always help me to see myself more clearly unless I'm looking in a mirror. When we choose lenses, it's important to also have self-reflection and to be able to look into ourselves and say, is this me? Is this something that I'm guilty of? Or is this the lens that I want to choose? Or is this lens helping me to be productive and happy? I, through this process, was able to think of a few different lenses that I want in my life that I can intentionally choose, because guess what? We're all going to have one. May as well choose the one that will be most productive and helpful in our lives. A few that I chose or hope to continue choosing are faith, hope, charity, gratitude, and Lord, is it I? I am so grateful for the opportunity to look at things a little bit differently. I hope that I can say, although I'm not certain that I see things clearly all the time on any given day, I hope I can say to the Lord, I still am blind. Please help me see. I saw the Lord's hand in my life this week as He helped me to consider how I see other things and other people. He's there. He watches over you. He is present. And He promised, if ye seek me diligently, ye shall find me. So until next time, happy seeking.